Think about the last time you sat down at a restaurant. Before you even look at the menu, a massive plastic cup is set in front of you, packed to the brim with ice. The cubes clink against the plastic. It feels crisp, clean, and completely normal. That ice is the result of a 200-year-old business strategy. And according to microbiological data from fast food chains across the country, those cubes are frequently dirtier than the water inside the restaurant's toilet bowl. If you travel outside the United States, you quickly realize how localized this habit is. Order a drink in London or Berlin, and you'll likely receive a glass of ambient temperature liquid. To an American, a room temperature beverage feels broken, but in many cultures, ice is an unnecessary dilution of the drink you paid for. This chart shows the disparity in global ice consumption. The average person globally uses roughly 8.2 kilograms of ice a year, primarily for food preservation. In the United States, that number jumps to 38 pounds of packaged ice per person. This isn't a universal biological preference. The American demand for freezing drinks was built over 2 centuries by a single industry. In 1806, a wealthy Bostonian named Frederic Tudor shipped 80 tons of New England pond ice to the Caribbean island of Martinique. The venture was a disaster. The locals had no concept of chilled drinks and watched the ice melt in the sun. Tudor's early failures repeatedly landed him in debtor's prison. Tudor eventually found a way to insulate his cargo using pine sawdust, a free waste product from the Massachusetts lumber industry. This allowed him to ship ice across the ocean with minimal loss. To lower costs, he industrialized the harvest. He used horse-drawn ice plows to carve frozen lakes into uniform, stackable blocks, turning a seasonal task into a high-volume extraction process. At Walden Pond, Tudor's crew of 100 workers ripped 10,000 tons of ice off the water in a single season. To create a market, Tudor gave his ice to Southern bartenders for free. He taught them to mix cocktails like the mint julep, betting that once a customer grew accustomed to a chilled drink, they would eventually find a warm one unpalatable. When Dr. John Gorey invented a mechanical ice machine to help malaria patients, Tudor launched a smear campaign. He used his influence with newspapers to label the machine-made ice as blasphemous and claimed it was teeming with toxic bacteria. Gorey's funding dried up, and he died in obscurity. Tudor's efforts turned a luxury into a physiological habit. By the time he was known as the Ice King, he had successfully linked the American identity to the consumption of cold liquids. Modern corporations have since refined Tudor's tactics. Inside the commercial ice machines found in almost every restaurant today, several hidden factors contribute to both health risks and hidden costs. First, the freezing process does not sterilize water. Pathogens like E. coli and Salmonella are preserved within the ice's crystalline structure. When the ice melts in your drink, these bacteria are released into your digestive tract in a viable state. Second, the heat rejected by the machine's compressor often warms nearby water reservoirs. In hospitals, this creates a temperature range where Legionella bacteria can thrive, contributing to cases of pneumonia. Third, machine drainage lines develop biofilm, a rubbery slime of bacterial colonies causing wastewater to back up into the clean ice bin. Fourth, because ice masks flavor, fast food outlets alter syrup-to-water ratios, using the ice matrix to hide that the soda is actively diluted. Fifth, Tudor's strategy of giving away free product to build a habit is still used as a model for modern tech growth. And sixth, the environmental footprint is significant. Water-cooled machines consume hundreds of gallons of water for every 100 pounds of ice produced. The modern ice machine functions as a bridge between Tudor's historical marketing and current corporate efficiency, often prioritizing speed over hygiene. If you're finding this history useful, please like the video and subscribe to Neuramyth. Now, let's look at the physics of how corporations use ice to maximize profit. It starts with a simple property of water. It expands by roughly 9. In a 32-ounce cup, ice displaces up to 80% of the volume. Packing the cup with ice drops the restaurant's liquid cost from 54 cents to just 27 cents. Across 20,000 global locations, this displacement saves nearly $1 billion annually. The oversized 32-ounce cup provides a visual illusion of value. However, the actual volume of liquid is often insufficient to satisfy thirst, which encourages the purchase of a second drink. The scoop of ice in your glass isn't just a courtesy, it's a physical barrier that limits the amount of product you actually receive. The financial math is only part of the story. In 2006, a Florida student named Jasmine Roberts conducted a study comparing ice from 5 major fast food restaurants to the water in their own toilets. Roberts found that 70% of the ice samples had higher bacterial counts than the toilet water. Many of the samples tested positive for E. coli, a bacteria associated with human waste. These findings were echoed in a 2013 international investigation. Testing at a KFC in Beijing revealed ice contamination levels 12 times higher than the restaurant's toilet water, far exceeding national standards for drinking water. This disparity exists because bathrooms are cleaned daily with high-strength disinfectants. In contrast, sanitizing an ice machine is a labor-intensive process that requires dismantling the unit, a task often skipped to meet labor and budget targets. Employees often serve as the primary vector for contamination. Pathogens from the kitchen or unwashed hands are transferred directly onto the ice scoop and into the storage bin. Consuming restaurant ice means drinking pathogens that have been preserved by the same cold intended to keep your drink fresh. The daily craving for a chilled beverage can be traced back 2 centuries to Frederic Tudor's need to build a market where none existed. It raises the question of how many of our daily habits are based on biology and how many are inherited from corporate history. The next time you're asked if you want ice in your drink, consider what's actually in the glass. For Neuramyth, I'm Narrator Name. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below.